Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is so good to have you here. This is the Spotlight series, and in the Spotlight series, I cover resources in my network who are open to work and who I think have really interesting stories and might be a great fit at your company. And today, I'm honored to have my good friend, Jonathan Lent. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thank you for having me. This is gonna be fun.
All right, cool. So why don't you just give a short story of who Jonathan Lent is, where you're from, and what are you looking to do?
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Lent. I'm here in Pennsylvania. I have a little bit of an unconventional, route in my past career, but a lot of it has very transferable sales skills that I'm really excited to apply to the SaaS area as I look to get into either an SDR or BDR position, hopefully with the end goal of becoming an AE.
For those of us who maybe don't roll in the sales world, and also for those who do roll in the sales world and want to make sure they know that you know what you're talking about, tell us what an SDR and BDR is and does.
That's a fair question. What does this guy know what he's getting into? As an SDR or as a BDR, my expectation would be that I show up to work. I am going to be doing a good number of cold calls, anywhere from 30 to 100. A lot of those phone calls are going to go straight to voicemail, so we're going to have, a couple really good scripts for that voicemail to get people's interest. But for like the 5 to 10% of people that actually pick up, my goal is going to be to, get their interest by talking about pain points and get them interested enough to and invested enough to eventually get to that disco call where we find out whether or not they are in fact an ICP and we want to actually bring them in, or if we're just going to disqualify them because we're not going to be able to solve their problem. And we're also going to be doing cold emails, and I'm going to have a good relationship with the AE so we can open up that pipeline for whatever company I work for.
And this is why I really want to dive into your kind of unconventional background, because I really feel like there's some transferable skills there. So why don't you tell the audience what you were doing at your last job and why that would matter, or why you've kind of fought in the same trenches that an SDR would have had to fight in.
At my last job, I integrated appliances for customers. I consider that to be like the very end of the sale, right? The sale's not done. The sales cycle isn't done until that product is at the customer's fingertips and they're happy. You've onboarded them and everyone's copacetic, right? Things will always come along down the pipeline, but that's where that main cycle ends. And that's where I was. And as far as that applies to the SDR, every morning I would be talking with anywhere from 10 to 20 people that I had never talked to before, instantly working to get them to like me, to trust me, because in this case I was doing, in-person interactions. So it's not just, hey, let's hop on a phone call. It's, hey, I'm going to be at your house and I want you to be comfortable with me. And so that soft skill of building rapport, building trust transfers right into an SDR role.
And what about actual sales experience?
In terms of actual sales experience, one of my first jobs at Atis, which was a very early tech startup company, I actually worked with the owner of the company to get our very first sale. So obviously this isn't just, we already have a product, it's like a viral product where as an SDR and AE, you basically take orders. No, this is, all right, we're going to convince you. We know this is a new product. We don't have a whole bunch of testimonials, but this is the nuclear option. We were selling an EMR for physical therapists that was the next generation of, you're not going to have to spend 3 hours at your computer every single day doing data entry. We got that first sale and we got that first customer in, even though it was the most expensive product on the market at the time. Fast forward a little bit to my time at Advanced Auto, where I ended up working with anywhere from 15 to 20 commercial accounts on a day-to-days they were anywhere from 50 to 100,000 ARR. So it wasn't just little B2C, it was B2B, and with customers where they could turn their business right down the road if they decided they didn't like it. So although I don't have direct software experience, I do have experience dealing with people and helping them solve their pain points, which at the end of the day, every sale is.
Maybe one way we can crash test you, why don't you tell the audience what the value prop of ServiceNow is based off of discussions you've had with me, just by our casual conversations?
So one of the big problems with a corporation is that as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, a lot of the information and the work tends to fall into invisible areas where that company can bleed money and just have poorly planned resources and no one knows. The whole idea behind ServiceNow is you make that work visible. You let the company decide what rules they want to set around it so they can govern it. And finally, automate the parts of that work that they can so they can make that company much more efficient and get the job done that they need to do.
It really helps if you can feel that pain as well, right? If you have some kind of like resonance with those problems. So maybe you could showcase how the value propositions of ServiceNow make work visible, governed, and automated, how you've seen that in your own personal work life, and you can understand why those things are big value props.
Absolutely. So I have a lot of experience in logistics with my last job, and even a little bit farther beyond that. One of the big issues was miscommunication. And what you would have is product traveling between warehouses and warehouses that had no method of getting information back and forth. The issue is so bad that I've had days that should have been an 8-hour day, a 12-hour day, turn into a 16-hour day because of a single phone number that wasn't available to me until I had already gotten onto the road. And that lack of transparency probably could have been fixed with a single problem, with a single integration that just needed to be done.
All right, so part of the art of the deal is overcoming objections, right? And since we led with you're having an unconventional background, probably one of the first objections that's going to come up is, well, you don't have any like legit SaaS experience. How do you overcome that objection?
So let's say I'm in a conversation with a hiring manager or BDR manager, and I get that challenge of, you know what, I'm still not sure whether or not you have the relevant SaaS experience. My response to that is like, all right, then let's find out. Numbers on a paper, words on a paper are great, but when it comes down to it is, do you have the skill or not? If we're in a conversation and you're not sure, I will sell you your own product. Outline the pain points, outline why it would be a good purchase and to who, and you can be the judge of whether or not you think that if I can hack it as a salesperson, and if you think that I'm coachable enough where we can, do this thing together. Because at the end of the day, my motivation is I want to be able to take care of my family. And so for that, I am prepared to go the extra mile to make sure that whatever SaaS sales job that I have, whether it be SDR, BDR, or eventually AE, that I am crushing the quota to a level that is just extraordinary.
Okay, and are you open to travel and relocation?
I'm primarily interested in a remote role, but there are a good number of states that I happily move to. Greater parts of Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida. Basically, the only states that are like a hard no for me right now are New York and California. So if it's not those two states, let's talk and find out what we can work out.
All right, folks, thanks for watching an episode of Spotlight. The special guest today has been Jonathan Lent. If you're looking to expand your sales team with SDRs and BDRs, and you're thinking long-term and want somebody who can take that position, crush it, and grow into an AE, reach out to the email. It's going to be on the screen below, and we are going to get you in contact with him. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. If you're a ServiceNow expert looking for better opportunities, but maybe your resume or LinkedIn profile isn't doing you justice, reach out to me via LinkedIn or the email pictured here, as I offer both career coaching and recruitment services. And if you're a ServiceNow customer or partner, you heard that right. Robert Fedoruk now does ServiceNow recruiting. With a 1,500 subscriber YouTube channel and mailing list, and thousands of LinkedIn followers, let's make sure your open positions get first go at the prodigious pool of ServiceNow resources. Reach out via the email picture here.